Hello and welcome in to another edition of the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast, live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, and Instagram account. This is where we stop down every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, to talk about the great sport of Idaho 8-Man football. The Idaho 8-Man Prepcast is brought to you by Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. And as you're hanging out with us live tonight, thanks for being with us. We want to hear from you, the fans. If you've got a player you want to shout out, a favorite team, a coach, you've got a question for us, throw it in the comments. We'll throw it up on the screen. We do the show for you, the fans, and we like that interactive dialogue. Also, as you're hanging out tonight, if you could like, share, and follow, this will help everybody that was not able to tune in live tonight find this a little easier on replay, and you can watch this anytime at the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, or X account. You can also listen to this podcast at IdahoSports.com or wherever you download and subscribe to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. Without further ado, let's bring on our esteemed panel of 8-man experts tonight. You know him as the owner-operator of Idaho 8-Man Twitter and Instagram. I guess X and Instagram it is. Will Henneke. What's up, Will?
I'm grumpy. Mariners lost today. A little grumpy. Good news is I think the Yankees are losing, so I feel okay about that.
Yeah, I just hold my breath, though, every time Aaron Judge comes up to bat. He can change the game in one swing. Kind of like, he'd fit in well with the Kendrick Tigers. I'm sure our next guest would agree with me there, that home run potential from the Panthers' den in Cary, Idaho. It's Coach Lane Kirkland. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, it's been a great day for me, Will. Sorry about yours. 6-0 now for the Cary Junior High. We beat Dietrich this afternoon on a nice sunny afternoon. So I'll be the happy side of the pet podcast tonight. All right, is that okay, Will?
Yeah, you can be the angel on the shoulder and I'll be the devil on the shoulder.
Okay, let's go. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Coach, you said it was nice and sunny, but you're wearing the windbreaker and it's zipped all the way up like you were like outside and it was frigid.
Yeah, I'm in my basement still, and I don't turn any heat on down here. So rather than shiver in front of you, I figured I'll just I'll stay warm. So it's all good.
All right. A real man of the people there, Coach Lane Kirkland. Well, we always start the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast with our game of the week. What was the most exciting game start to finish? We actually had several worthy candidates. Camas County and Castleford got into this crazy shootout that was decided by 2 points. Grace rallied from down I think it was 3 scores in the fourth quarter, and an extra point kick of all things won it for the Grizzlies. But we'll go with the game that went to overtime. This was a surprising one, to be sure. Glenns Ferry knocks out Valley in overtime, 26-20. The first quarter started with the Pilots jumping in front. Braden Spriggs broke off a 58-yard touchdown run on a quarterback keeper. 2-point conversion failed, so it was 6-0 Glenns Ferry. And then we had a deluge of points in the second quarter. Glenns Ferry actually got up 20-0, guys. Brody Merrill had a 20-yard touchdown run, and then Spriggs threw a 9-yard touchdown pass to Dom Guerrero. And the Pilots were up 20-0 midway through the second quarter, and you thought, oh, man, Valley, they're in trouble. But here come the Vikings. Brant Jones, quarterback keeper, 2-yard touchdown run to make it 20-6. And then we love this, Will. A big man touchdown. Jones, an 18-yard touchdown pass to Jesus Urias. The first career touchdown reception and maybe the first career reception period for the senior offensive lineman, Jesus Urias. And that made it 20-14 at halftime. We love to see the big guys get a little love.
Oh, absolutely. And you see it sometimes in the 8-man game because you're able to manipulate formations and whatnot to get guys eligible. Tragan Jones over at Oakley, I think, had 2 or 3 touchdowns in a game recently. So yeah, you see some coaches that find a way to get their big guys involved.
Yes. So it was 20-14 at halftime. It was also 20-14 at the end of 3. It was also 20-14 midway through the fourth quarter. And finally, Valley gets the equalizer with 3:25 to play. Brant Jones takes off on a 17-yard touchdown run. Now, they could have gotten the 2-point conversion and taken the lead, but it fails. So 20-20, we go to overtime. And in OT, Coach, Valley has the ball first. They could not score. It was a 4th and goal play. They rolled out Brant Jones to the left side. He had nowhere to go. Glenns Ferry smothered him defensively. So now the Pilots know all we have to do is line it up and score, and that's what they do. Brody Merrill, 4-yard touchdown run to walk it off, 26-20, and the Pilots get the win in overtime. What a signature win for Coach Eric Stewart and Glenns Ferry.
Oh boy, yeah, and to go to overtime and just hang on like that, and then to finish the job, knowing that you pretty much won the game throughout and held on right to the end, and then had one more chance to finish and do the damage there. One of the things I wrote down about this game here is as you get into overtime, you really don't expect to go to overtime, but man, we've seen like 6, 7 games this year that have been the game of the week that have gone to overtime. But something I think coaches ought to do is on a card somewhere in their pocket, have that list of plays for that overtime. And then, of course, your killer extra point that can get the job done that is going to help you win that thing. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but to have that scripted and thought out for that team that you're coming up to play against, especially if you know it's going to be close, might help you just seal the deal and feel a little bit better about it after the game, knowing that you did your best in making those calls and either it worked or it didn't. So good for the pilots.
Yeah, I wonder if either coach had a photo of the Stanley Trophy in his pocket, the rivalry trophy that those two towns play for. I know it's a big deal there. So, for Glenns Ferry to come up with the win, and I saw a picture of them hoisting the trophy after the game, and a really big win within the Snake River Conference. I think both teams will probably, barring completely falling apart down the stretch, I think they'll both probably find their way into the 2A playoffs. But you start thinking about seeding now. This was a big win for Glenns Ferry.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at what else happened in the Snake River Conference, and then we can take a look at the latest standings, and then, of course, Will's favorite part, the max preps and the playoff bracket and how all that looks. So the other big matchup we had in the conference this past Friday was Hagerman taking on Murtaugh. The Pirates shut out the Red Devils 46-0. Now, this was, I was told, a slop fest. It was wet. It was muddy. It was not conducive to passing the ball. You see it in the numbers. Wyatt Mavenkamp was only 5 of 22 passing, still managed to throw for 2 touchdowns, did throw 2 interceptions. So what do you do, Coach, when it's slop outside? You feed the dogs. And so Kaysen Knight, 15 carries, 234 yards and 4 touchdowns, had 10 tackles on defense as well. It's nice that Hagerman's able to pivot when the pass, because they definitely want to throw the ball first, but on a night where they can't, it's nice to know that they can turn to a guy like Kaysen Knight and he can deliver on the ground. Yeah,
it was a big night for Kaysen on the ground there. That's a lot of yardage in those 15 carries.
Coach, you're making me even grumpier with puns like that.
Go Yankees. Wait a minute. But
yeah. 2-1 Toronto.
Oh, dude. 7 turnovers, however, gathered up by Hagerman. The ball had to have been slick. The pigskin was piggy that night. And wow, when you get in those muddy games, it's fun. The great memories happen, but it's horrible calling plays. And you just hope you hang on to the ball and you get across the goal line as often as possible. And the ground game helps for sure. And if you weigh more, you got traction.
I heard from a couple of people. I talked to a bunch of people over the course of every weekend, and I heard a couple of comments from people that said, hey, you may look at 46-0 and think that, Murtaugh just no-showed. And I had a couple of people tell me Murtaugh's defense actually played pretty well. They basically played the whole game with their back up against the wall. Coach, you mentioned the 7 turnovers, the bad conditions, just a really tough, tall order. But I had multiple people who were able to watch all or parts of the game that say, you know what? Murtaugh made Hagerman work. Hagerman got the win. It's a big win. It's a good win. But Murtaugh, they represented themselves fairly well, all things considered.
Yeah. Stetson Perkins, 3 of 23 passing, 31 yards, 5 interceptions for Murtaugh, and just a rough night to throw the ball. Coach mentioned it, 7 takeaways for the Hagerman defense. Xander Senarusa had 2 interceptions. Cameron Clossy had 2 interceptions. And then Wyatt Mavenkamp and Jonah Knapp each had a pick. And then Will Mavenkamp had a fumble recovery as well. So the Hagerman defense doing work. Let's take a look at the latest Snake River Conference standings, guys. Raft River and Hagerman, both 3-0. The Trojans had a bye week last week. Valley is sitting at 2-2. Glenns Ferry is 1-1. But the Pilots do have the tiebreaker over the Vikings after that head-to-head win. Murtaugh and Oakley still both 0-3 in conference. and an opportunity to get their first win when they play each other. So that's what's going on in the Snake River Conference. Okay, let's go to and real quick in the chat, here's Graham on YouTube. A few minutes late to the show. Did you guys color coordinate tonight? We're all wearing our finest Toronto Blue Jays blue, right, Will?
Hey, I'm all in on Team Blue Jay right now, but I wore the blue shirt today because it was the first one I grabbed.
Yeah,
and
same.
I'm just trying to stay warm, Grandma, like my mom told me.
That's right. It's funny how we all are wearing blue, though. That did work out pretty well. So, you know what else worked out well? Grace playing Rich High from Utah, the Rich County Rebels. They were down 14 points with just 4 minutes remaining. And Grace pulls off this incredible comeback. 25 seconds to go. They score the touchdown. And, Coach, they decide to go for the point after kick. Brad Sheely threw the uprights and good. 37-36. Grace with essentially the walk-off win over Rich High from Utah. Pretty impressive.
So cool. Yeah, so cool. Sometimes you just get in that groove. You got 4 minutes left to play. And things just happen. You watch it in the NFL every night. You shouldn't turn the TV off till it's over because somebody can score in 10 seconds, And Coach Draper must have made the right calls to get him down the field, and then the right call to kick it. Wow, that's a good win for Grace on the road against what I hear is a pretty good Rich Utah team down south.
Yeah, really, really good Rich team from Utah. And Gavin Draper plays well again, 15 of 22, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, 13 carries, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And real quick, just the standings there. Grace 6-1 overall. Butte County is 1-5. They will play each other in the last week of the regular season to decide the High Desert Conference title in a game that you can watch on IdahoSports.com. Hey, Renee in the chat wants to know, guys, how is Clearwater Valley going? Well, that's where we're headed next. The White Pine League up in District 2. Since she made the request, or he made the request, I will start with the Prairie Clearwater Valley game. We'll go a little bit out of order here on the rundown. Prairie defeats the Rams 56-6. This was a big night for Cade Quintal, the Prairie quarterback here, Will. 12 of 17, 220 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, also had a rushing touchdown and 2 interceptions on defense. What was more impressive, that stat line, or was it Chris Shoemaker, 7 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown, or the pick 6 as well? So he had 7 carries, 111 yards and a touchdown, 4 catches, 46 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick 6. What was the more impressive stat line?
I went with the shoe. He was one of my top 3 stars. That young man, he's on a nice little surge right now, playing some great football, and Prairie picking up a big win that they needed. But to answer Renee's question, Clearwater Valley is all different shades of beat up. Liam Wall, their quarterback, is now out. They have a freshman starting at quarterback, I believe. Head coach Alan Hutchins said he had either 3 or 4 freshmen starting this week. They've been a little bit snake bit. There's just no other way to put it. I mean, you're talking about a team that took potlatch to overtime a few weeks ago, and now sometimes you can have the greatest game plan, the greatest heart, and the greatest effort, and if you're just missing the wrong kids, it just makes it really, really hard. So the positive thing, if you're a silver lining guy, and I am a silver lining guy, Clearwater Valley, you look at these freshmen, the experience they're gaining now, and Coach, you can talk to this, nobody likes it when you're going through it, but in 2 or 3 years, the program is going to be so much better off experience-wise and IQ-wise and energy-wise for what they're going through right now.
Yeah, you can't compensate for playing time, and those kids are going to get it right here and get it early and grow up quickly and become men. And Coach Hutchins will be looking forward to those guys as they come through the ranks over the years. So nothing to hang their head about as Prairie rolls pretty strongly there. And those 3 guys, Cade, Chris, and Cooper, getting in on a lot of stats this week.
Yeah, Cooper Reiner, 4 catches, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns there. And yeah, it's the younger Wall, Cale Wall, freshman quarterback now, threw for 143 yards and a touchdown, did throw 3 interceptions as well. Okay, let's backtrack to Kendrick. That's always the topic of conversation in the White Pine League. This was a game on IdahoSports.com last Friday. They go to Potlatch and take care of the Loggers. only 68-0. I mean, that's going to hurt their season scoring average significantly. I mean, you could pick any stat. Maddox Kirkland, 8 of 11. So he actually threw more passes in this game than he does most nights. He throws about 4 or 5 usually. 8 of 11 in this one, 247 yards, 4 touchdowns. Also ran for a touchdown. Riley Rhodes at center had a rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown. Tanner Clemenhagen, 5 carries, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Orion Stewart ran the ball well. This was a game, Coach, that was actually fairly tight until midway through the second quarter, and then the dam just sort of burst, and Kendrick was off and running.
Yeah, it looks like it there as I believe I count 8 guys getting in on touchdowns. That makes for a fun night for the Tigers, kind of spreading the love around there. And once again, building for the future that will be headed their way, and those guys will grow up and appreciate that stuff. But Potlatch's just trying to hang in there. And, if you can hang with the Tigers for a quarter, I think you've done a pretty good job. So well done, Potlatch Loggers.
Yeah,
what was wild to me, Brandon, is you and I both got a text midway through the game from Joe Woodland, the former Notice head coach, just kind of marveling at Kendrick, and we both marveled at. We talk so much about the offensive exploits. Okay, we're 6. It's approaching mid-October. They've given up 8 points this season. They've given up 1 touchdown. They don't give you any cutback lanes. They pursue the ball. They tackle. There are no blown coverages. I mean, we can go on and on about their offense, and it's every bit of it deserved. But man, watching that Kendrick defense, I'm trying to figure out, did they sneak a 9th guy on the field somewhere, a 9th and a 10th guy? Because Potlatch has some players. Jay Marshall, the quarterback, he's not some. He's not Bubby Brister back there. There's a name from the past for you guys. He can move around. He's pretty agile, but when he had to pull the ball down and run, there were 4 Kendrick jerseys right there. Like immediately, he had nowhere to go. I was really, really impressed with the Kendrick defense in this one.
Yeah. Coach, can you tell me who is the only team to have scored a touchdown against Kendrick this year? They've played a lot of good teams along the way. Do you know? I know Will knows, but
I do. I was there.
Yeah.
It was early in the year, so I will defer for the second half. Go, Will.
It was Oakley. I believe Laramie Lara was the one who actually scored the touchdown.
Yes, Oakley of all teams. So
let it be written. Yeah.
Yep. So Kendrick rolls on. We also had Logos defeat Butte County, also on IdahoSports.com. This was a Saturday neutral site game in Homedale. 54-6 the final. Joseph Sensing, 6 of 8, 100 yards and a touchdown passing. Also ran for 82 yards and a score. Baxter Covington had a passing touchdown and also 6 carries for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns. And our favorite guy, Will, Peter Story, the nose guard, 5 tackles, 2 sacks.
Oh, that guy's just all over the place. I had a couple of good pictures of him from that game where he's about to just destroy the Butte County quarterback, Wanstrom, or whoever, the running back, the receiver. He's a menace. Defensively, he's a menace. And they ran the ball so effectively. Like it was 6, 8, 10, 12 yards every single time. It was really a clinic on how to run the ball. I didn't think Butte County's offense played that poorly. They were able to do some things with Tegan Babcock at running back. They just had a hard time sustaining the drives. They'd start it. They'd pick up a couple of first downs. They'd get a good play, whatever it was. They just had a hard time doing it consistently, and Logos did it consistently. I mean, they just churned and churned and churned. They played a good football game.
Yep. It was really nice to see. So if we look at the current White Pine League standings here on IdahoSports.com, Kendrick and Cami, the lone unbeatens, both 3-0 in the conference. Kendrick is 6-0 overall. Cami is 5-0. You have Logos and Potlatch both lurking at 2-1. Prairie is 2-2. Troy is playing kind of the independent schedule this year. And then you got Clearwater Valley and Lapwai, each 0-4. Renee says, thanks, guys. I used to play with the Clearwater Valley Rams. I've got more good news coming up for you, Renee, so hang tight here for just a second regarding those Clearwater Valley Rams. And then if we look at the Western Idaho Conference right above the White Pine League, guys, Idaho City and Notice, both 1-0. Notice got conference win against Centennial Baptist, 51-30. Didn't have any stats or anything from that game, but boy, remember when the Mustangs started the year 1-0? They have not been able to find that success since. And then really the unfortunate thing, Will, is the other game, Wilder picks up a win over Rimrock via forfeit. That goes down as a 21-0 final, according to Max Preps. And so, boy, Rimrock had just gotten a nice homecoming win. I think it was last week or the week prior, and then not enough kids, and they've got to fold.
Yeah, they win the homecoming game on Friday night. They celebrate homecoming all weekend. They get through Monday or Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, the school district has to make the difficult decision to end the team season, and it's really, really disappointing. You're talking about a Rimrock team that had just broken through last year and won their first, district title, and I mean, I can't even remember how long it was, but it was a long damn time. And so they felt like they really had some things going, and we just talked last week about how this was a team with Carlos Herrera and Justin Yetzer and Adrian Farfan. They felt like they had some pieces that were falling into place, and maybe they might be a factor before this is all said and done in the Western Idaho Conference, and unfortunately won't be the case.
Yeah, Coach, what's the answer here? Because we're going to talk in the 1A segment about another team that had to fold because there weren't enough players.
Oh, it's tough, I think, in some schools to get the numbers out. I think I had a segment the last year talking about recruiting, and I really think it's crucial for coaches, especially if you're not in the school system, to be in the school and be present all year long, and making sure that you shake hands, you see faces of all the boys in the school that you can get on your team. You should be looking at that basketball roster, going to those games, should be following some track stuff as well, baseball, whatever is at your school, but you got to recruit and you got to get them out there. And I don't know, it's a tough deal. I don't think I know the answer, but yeah, too bad for them.
Yeah, we sure hope Rimrock can rebound next year and get enough guys out to compete for the Raiders there. And let's not forget, Rimrock has the enrollment of a 1A school, and every single time they choose to play up at the 2A level because otherwise they would have to travel so far to play, Council and Tri-Valley and some of those teams. So, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show too, the next classification cycle and how the districts might change and all that fun stuff. But let's not forget that either. Rimrock is one of the smallest teams at this 2A level. All right, guys, before we wrap up our 2A football conversation, let's take a look at the latest Max Preps rankings and what the current playoff bracket would look like. Everyone loves this. The fans really enjoy it. Kendrick is still number 1. Kamei is not that far behind, though, at number 2. Logos 3, Grace 4. That's a pretty good top 4. That's probably how I would have it in some order. Hagerman 5, Prairie 6, Potlatch 7, Raft River 8, Valley 9, Glenns Ferry 10. I feel pretty good about that top 10. Those 10 teams, I think, are pretty safe for the playoffs at this point. Look at Clearwater Valley, guys. The Rams checking in at number 11 despite being winless, and that puts them in the bracket. They get the final at large spot in our latest bracket, and how about that first round game? Clearwater Valley at Kamei, Upriver Rampage Part 2. We also have Glenns Ferry at Logos, Valley at Prairie, and Raft River at Potlatch. The 4 conference champions get a first round bye. You'll see Murtaugh here at number 12. 12 teams make it, but because somebody from District 3, ranked down here at the bottom, is going to steal one of those bids, you have to finish 11th or higher. So, Will, what do you think about the Rams currently in the playoffs?
Well, I think that obviously speaks very highly to the strength of schedule that they're playing. They've played just kind of the beast mode of beast modes when it comes to the schedule. They play grace, I mean, they're not backing down from anybody. And when you're talking about the top 3 teams in that poll right there that you just showed, Kendrick, Kamei, Logos, those are 3 teams that Clearwater Valley shares a league with. And you've also got Prairie in there. So, I mean, they're playing a who's who of 8-man football. So I guess I'm not surprised that they're buoyed a little bit. And they do have a couple of winnable games coming up on their schedule here. And we'll see if they can get some semblance of healthy, win a couple of those games and have a chance to fight for that one of those final playoff spots.
Yeah, coach, that's really the problem with like a Murtaugh. They've been in the same boat. They even have a win, and they played Cary close. They played Raft River close, but they just don't have as many opportunities to move up the ladder like Clearwater Valley does, because the league is just a little bit weaker than the White Pine League. And so it's very interesting how this all shakes out. Murtaugh's got to get another win somewhere, right? They have to beat Oakley if they want to, right?
Right. Yeah, that'll give them a chance to speak for themselves and see if the numbers add up.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's Kristen in the chat. Let's go Cubs. Yeah, Cammy playing well for sure. And of course, they have Kendrick coming up. That should be a really fun game. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, what's going on in the 1A football landscape, plus our game picks still to come, and we're talking about the next IHSAA classification cycle. What will the new leagues look like? Stay tuned. It's all coming up right after this break. You're watching the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Ideal. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. I love it.
College costs money.
Welcome back to the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast, live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, and Instagram account. As you're hanging out live tonight, we want to hear from you, the fans. So shout out your favorite team, coach, player, or if you've got a question for us, throw it in the comments. We'll throw it up on the screen. That's why we do this show, is for you, the fans. And also, if you're hanging out tonight, if you could please like, share, and follow. This will help everybody that is not here live tonight find this a little easier on replay amongst all the other stuff going on social media. The Idaho 8-Man Prepcast is brought to you by Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. And we're pleased to announce for the second year in a row, IdahoSports.com is partnering with Ideal to give one lucky student from a 1A or 2A school in Idaho $529 in cold hard cash to be used in an Ideal 529 account. These can be used for college, trade school, paying off student loans. There's a lot of different applications you can use this for. It's super easy. All you have to do, now this backfired last week when I tried to do this, but I'm a bold man. idsaves.org/IdahoSports. And there it is. Presto. idsaves.org/IdahoSports. There's all the contest rules, the information. Here's how you can sign up. If you are under the age of 18, you do need a parent to enter for you. And last year's winner was from the Cammy Cubs. Happened to be a football player, offensive and defensive lineman Rylan Skinner. So you could be the next lucky winner. It's the Ideal and Idaho Sports 8-Man Prepcast 529 giveaway. And again, idsaves.org/IdahoSports. The deadline is coming up, guys, October 24th. So you got 16 days. Do not dilly-dally. Get it in. October 24th is the deadline. We will announce the winner on October 31st. And you're going to get $529 free cash. So get on it. Do not procrastinate. I'll probably send an email out to all the schools next week or the week after. Really get as many people signed up as possible there. But love that Ideal is doing that once again, along with us here at IdahoSports.com. Okay, guys, let's talk 1A football. And, let's start in North Idaho for a change. We're always starting with Cary or the Long Pin or, let's start up north. We had this monumental game I'm only saying that because this is the game I was at. And finally, I have a chance to talk like I know something. This was a North Idaho showdown in Silverton. It was Wallace and Genesee, a battle of unbeaten teams. The Bulldogs get the win 22 to, oh man, I didn't put the other total on the rundown there. I think it was 22 to 16. 18. Oh, 18. Thank you. 22 to 18, the final score. Jackson.
Hang on. You just got done telling us that you were going to be able to talk knowledgeably about this game.
The final score, and that's not important. Who cares about that? Yeah, boy, I looked at the rundown and didn't see that number next to Wallace. That was a deer in the headlights. Yes, 22 to 18. Thank you, Coach. Jackson Banks played really well. 14 of 22 passing, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a sack on defense. Noah Bowman, you can tell this was the guy they wanted to get the ball to. They ran a lot of sweeps with him where he came out of the slot. He was the guy they were targeting in the passing game. He had 7 catches for 188 yards and a touchdown. Wes Holder played really well. So Genesee started 7 guys both ways. The one guy that didn't start both ways on defense was Wes Holder, and you can see why. 2 sacks and a fumble recovery. He was an animal out there. And then on the side for Wallace, Cooper Miller, 6 of 15, 126 yards and a touchdown, also ran for 167 yards and 2 scores. Marley Pierce was all over the place for Wallace. He is like Holder, a defense-only guy, 15 tackles. Here's where the game boiled down, Coach. Jason Hansen's been doing this a long time. This is his 3rd stint as Genesee's head football coach, won the only championship in school history back in 2005. And he had a couple of veteran tricks up his sleeve, some stuff I think you would appreciate. Like midway through the first half, it was 4th and about 8 with the ball at midfield. Genesee lines up in the shotgun with Banks. Well, instead he does a quick kick and it rolls down inside the Wallace 15-yard line. Totally flipped the field. Wallace wasn't expecting it. The play, what ended up being the game-winning touchdown in the second half was they had an offensive guard that also plays tight end named Preston Cass, and he had been lined up at guard the entire night. Well, they had a specific formation where Cass was lined up as the guard on the end of the line, but he was an eligible receiver because of who was on the line and who was off the line, and Wallace didn't catch it, and they ran a little seam route with Cass, and Banks threw a 15-yard touchdown pass to him. It was just those little things that a veteran coach like Jason Hansen, because he knew the game plan coming in. Wallace had the better skill players, but we feel like we can execute better. They wanted to run the ball, control the clock, get out of there with the win, and they executed it perfectly. I was really impressed with Genesee.
Yeah, I don't know if they practice all those or things or not, but when you've been around a long time, a lot of things comes to your head as to what you can do to make something happen there. And if you got the kids to execute it and they're reading your mind as well, you can make those things happen and outcoach somebody just because you've been around a lot longer. And it sounded like that's what Coach Hansen had in store in making those calls to beat a solid Wallace team. But a Genesee team with a lot of seniors, a lot of practice, and some experience there, and reading his mind and being able to execute those plays is the difference. And that probably was a whole lot of fun to watch up there, Brandon.
Yeah, I got to talk to Coach Hansen before the game. He used to be a broadcaster for us on IdahoSports.com in between coaching stints 2 and 3. That's what we do. We pick up these ex-coaches to broadcast for us. And he told me, he said, hey, our guys are like kind of nervous, but also really excited. He said, it's been a long time since IdahoSports.com came to do a Genesee game. And he said, we are just like sky high with optimism right now. They still have not had their full complement of players this year. They're currently missing. They had just gotten back Subert, one of their wide receivers, but they just lost another player, a good tight end, Jaramalek. So they haven't had their full complement of guys yet. They keep on winning. And on the flip side, Will, for Wallace, they're going to look back at this game and go, boy, we had the ball 4 times inside the Genesee red zone, didn't score on any of them. They fumbled at the 6-yard line trying to go under center and just missed the handoff. And then Cooper Miller broke a long run that would have given Wallace the lead late, and he just got tripped up on the wet grass, started doing the windmill thing, and stumbled and fell around the 15-yard line. And so Wallace can come out of this game feeling okay too. And I think this was actually good for the Miners because it's going to force them to kind of refocus and clean up just a couple of small things.
Yeah, they know that they're able to hang with a really good Genesee team, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that if you're Wallace, you're looking at that tape whether you watch it on Saturday or whether you watch it on Monday, whenever you watch it, going, man, that game was there for us to take, and we just didn't take it. I thought both teams played incredibly hard. I thought it was a fun football game to watch. Big plays, fun plays. But I think if you're Genesee, what you walk away from that is we can go on the road and we can win a big time game. Our defense bent a little bit, but we did not break. We made the stops when we needed to make them. And if you're Wallace, you're like, okay, if we clean up a couple of little things, if we finish a couple of drives, we can beat some pretty good opposition here.
Yep. I did want to mention as well, when Wallace fumbled at their own 6-yard line and Genesee recovered, very next play, Banks hits Bowman for a 92-yard touchdown. I mean, that was kind of the backbreaker for sure. I told both coaches after the game, I said, hey, I'm really looking forward to being on the call for the rematch in the semifinals in the Kibbe Dome. It'll be nice and warm inside, so let's do it. And they both kind of said, yeah, okay, we'll see you there. So
let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
I got something to add to that, Brandon, here, maybe just for the 1As this week, looking perhaps at calling out 3 individuals from the 1A that may be in the running for player of the year here. Let's throw some Cooper Miller stats out, and I have a few more guys the rest of the night here as well. Cooper Miller, 80 for 114 for 1135 in his yardage with 18 touchdowns passing. 64 rushes for 751 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns. Cooper's been part of 30 touchdowns this season for his team. Definitely a leader and putting himself in that spotlight right there. We're going to have to continue to win out to be able to earn that position.
Okay, I'm excited to hear who your other candidates are as we go through the rest of the 1A landscape here tonight. That's going to be exciting. Let's talk about the other crossover games that happened between District 1 and District 2. Deary defeats Lakeside 52-14. Jarrett Keene, 7 of 9, 151 yards, 4 touchdowns, also ran for 68 yards and 2 scores. Cooper Dammerman rushes for 108 yards and a touchdown and had 16 tackles on defense. Blake Clark, 9 tackles and a sack. And then Jacob Meckling and Cruz Sanderson each came away with interceptions on defense. We also had Lewis County shut out Clark Fork 46-0. Slater Couther, 3 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing. Jaden Williams had 16 carries for 102 yards. And Jace Krantz, 70 rushing yards and a touchdown, but he left with an injury in the second half of that game. And anytime Lewis County's already got small numbers to begin with, when you lose a 2-way stud like Jace Krantz, we sure hope he can come back.
You hope it was precautionary because they had a lead and they have the big, strong Jaden Williams. He's a big, strong kid. And when you can feed him, 12 or 14 handoffs over the course of a couple of drives and really wear an opponent down, I think that's a good thing. And I think that was a smart move either way by head coach Monty Madrell. But, not that we're ever sitting here hoping that anybody's injury is serious, but you're right. When you're a small team with small numbers and you're young and you're inexperienced and you got a kid like Jace Krantz, who's a heck of a football player, you don't want to lose him for any period of time if you can help it.
Yeah. And then finally, Timberline was in action against Troy, and the Spartans get their first win of the season, 76-28. That's some pent-up frustration. Corbin Christopherson, 16 of 21, 299 yards, 4 touchdowns passing. And Aries Maberly, 16 carries, 171 yards, 4 touchdowns, also had 2 receiving touchdowns. That's a grand total of 6 by my count. So congratulations to Timberline on the win there. Let's take a look at the standings from North Idaho. Here's the North Star League. Court of Christ, still the only team that's played a league game. They beat Lakeside 2 weeks ago, so they're 1-0. The Knights are 0-1. I heard an interesting rumor about the Knights. I won't share it until maybe I see it actually happens, and then we can discuss it if it happens. Wallace is 5-1 overall. They're going to play Clark Fork this Friday, conference opener for the Wampus Cats as well. They are 2-3. And then if we scroll down to the White Pine League, guys, you've got Genesee and Deary both 1-0. Lewis County and Timberline both 0-1. Let's not forget, though, Deary's one conference win came in a very tight game over Timberline, 18-12. So to me, I don't know. I'm still not comfortable calling anybody in the White Pine League, despite Genesee being 5-0 and looking pretty well. I've seen too many weird things happen in this White Pine League over the years where everybody beats up on each other. So we'll finally get some more data points, though, over the next 3 weeks there. So that's what's going on in North Idaho. Let's go to the Long Pin Conference. Council defeats Garden Valley 40-8. Didn't have any stats for Council in this game, Coach, but man, the Lumberjacks just keep on chugging.
Yeah, I did talk to Coach Tucker just a little bit. He was busy over the weekend and finally got back to me, but things seem to be going pretty well at Council. Just trying to keep things rolling there and to gain some momentum as they head into a Tri-Valley game here coming up pretty darn soon. And then Garden Valley, of course, putting 8 points up on the board there. And good to see Maxon back on the field, getting the stats where he's at there. But the Lumberjacks still bringing it this season and lining themselves up for a big finish here against Tri-Valley soon.
Yeah, it seems to me Garden Valley this year, Will, is kind of missing that bell cow back, that guy that they can turn to and say, hey, we need to give you the ball 30 times tonight, and you're going to run the rock for us and control the clock and take care of it. They just don't seem to have that element this year.
Yeah, Trevor Korn last year did it, and he did a lot of it from the quarterback position, and they don't run as much, at least thus far, from the quarterback position this year. They've excuse me. Part of that is because Max Yearsley was hurt for several weeks, and hasn't seen as much playing time, but they've spread the ball around a little bit more. And, you go up against Council and you say 40-8, and you're like, ew. Council would beat a lot of teams 40-8. So if I'm Garden Valley, I don't want to read too much into it. Clearly they can play better. Clearly they can do more. But I don't want to spend too much time beating myself up over one of the top 8-man teams in all of Idaho. Getting a 4 or 5 touchdown win on me. Council's going to do that to a lot of people.
Yeah. If we look at the long pin standings here, you'll see Tri-Valley and Council are both 2-0. Salmon River, Cascade are each 0-1. Garden Valley is 0-2. Let's not forget, 2 weeks ago, the Wolverines were 4-0. They just have happened to play Tri-Valley and Council in back-to-back weeks, and they'll do that to a lot of teams. You might be asking, where's Horseshoe Bend? Unfortunately, they're down here in the independent JV schedule portion because 3 games in, they also, like Rimrock, not enough players and have called it. They were supposed to play Cascade this weekend. They had to cancel that. They're going to play, I think, 1 or 2 JV games, maybe to round it out this year. But, man, Coach, another one. Horseshoe Bend bites the dust here.
Yeah, you hate to see that. We seem to have a couple of those every season here. But kudos to those boys that come out and gave all they could for their program as long as it lasted. And nothing to hang their heads there. They'll rally again next year and hopefully be able to start anew with a few more numbers on the team.
Yeah. Tri-Valley did beat Salmon River 72-46. I think I'm going to start calling these 3 guys the law firm: Wagner, George, and Noah. I mean, Wagner, 18 carries, 382 yards, 6 touchdowns. Gage George, 19 carries, 111 yards. Eli Noah, 13 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Wagner also set a new season high in pass attempts. He went 10 of 19. He usually throws it about 5 times a game. He went 10 of 19 for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Elias DeVries caught a touchdown, had 15 tackles on defense. Gavin Springer, 5 tackles, 4 sacks. Corbin Talbert, 7 tackles, 2 sacks. And yet, Coach, on the Salmon River side, they did put up 46 points. Blake Shepard threw for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. The key, though, was Riley Davis was held in check. He's exploded at the running back position this year. He did have 76 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground and 114 yards and a touchdown through the air. Also 18 tackles and a fumble recovery on defense. It was just too little too late, but I think Salmon River can actually come away from this feeling pretty encouraged.
Yeah, they actually are. In receiving a text from Coach Medley, he says, we knew we could score touchdowns because we found some things we could pick on just a little bit. And he says, but we didn't know how the heck we were going to stop that run game. And those big guys up front, the 3-headed monster with those Tri-Valley guys just doing it on the ground, just unstoppable. And Wagner just racking up those yards. But Coach Medley was pretty excited about his adventure there. Coach Wagner did say they were behind, they were ahead, I should say, somewhere around 36 at a certain point, maybe at halftime, and just couldn't quite put a frisky Salmon River team away as the game continued. So, both teams find an edge in that second half and continue to put up points and rally in some yards. Jace Wagner would be my second shout out here for Player of the Year. So far, 91 carries, 1,256 yards. I think he's number 2 overall in rushing yards in 1A and 2A combined for 21 touchdowns and throwing for 26 catches, 375 yards and another 4 touchdowns. So definitely a leader on his team.
Yeah.
And a heck of a defensive player too. He had 3 interceptions a couple of weeks ago. He's one, and this isn't by no means meant to disrespect any other player in 8-man football period, but in the 1A classification, you're going to have to make a pretty good case for yourself if you want to beat out Jace Wagner for the state player of the year at this point. Now, we've still got a few weeks to go. Some things happen, but man, every week when we hear from the Tri-Valley coaching staff, it's, another 300 yards rushing, another 16 tackles, another 4 touchdowns, another 4 interceptions. I mean, the kids, it feels like he's been playing there for 127 years, but he just keeps getting better and better and better. And he's been fantastic this year.
We did this at the end of the regular season last year where we kind of gave our top 4 candidates for 2A player of the year and 1A player of the year and had their cumulative stats, and we put it all up on the screen together. I think I'd like to do that again this year. Maybe week 10, we can kind of say, hey, here are kind of the leading candidates for the Heisman Trophy, as it were. I think that'd be kind of cool. So
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a Tri-Valley Titan, Coach. They are the number 1 team in the Max Preps rankings. They're currently tied for first in the Long Pin Conference. A lot of good things going on with the co-op between Midvale and Cambridge, and that's where we're stopping down for this week's edition of the Coach's Corner.
Yeah, had a lot of fun putting this one together, and spent a half hour or so on the phone with Coach Wagner on Sunday evening, like I do with all the coaches, to follow up on slideshows and script and such, and get to know them just a little bit. But I shout out to his wife, Brittany, for helping me fix the slideshow up and put it the way that it should be. I'm sure it was Brittany that did that and not Coach Wagner, because It is amazing. So with further ado here, Coach Tyler Wagner from the Tri-Valley Titans, celebrating the 25th anniversary this year of the inspiring movie Remember the Titans as of last month. I can't wait to tell you about this Titan guy. He grew up in Prairie City, Oregon, a small ranching and logging town, and like many small towns, played multiple sports and played quarterback on his 8-man football team. How about that, in Oregon? He loved the mental challenge of the position, and it was this early love that brought him to football to want to be able to coach later on. Coach credits several of his mentors for shaping his career and helping him get into the game. His high school coach, Chris Woods, he said, was old. I mean, old, like 60-something. And he says he was old school, and he was old. But he taught him tough love and preparation and hard work, and he really appreciated that, because that's what it takes in this game. There's no softies that finish at the top of this league. He played 8-man football growing up and was fortunate to have landed his first teaching job and coaching job in Mayer, Arizona, an 8-man school, where he was under the tutelage of Coach Rick Ashley. And as a young coach there, he learned some great skills in continuing the game. He also spent a year with Terry Graham at Burns, Oregon, coaching 11-man. And what his takeaways were from those, it's not about the plays, it's about the players. And Coach Wagner now is in his 3rd season as head coach of the Tri-Valley Titans, and doing well. Well, over the years, Coach's philosophy has evolved. Just try and stop us, he said. The plays, and he used to be focused a lot on the plays, X's and O's, and now his focus is on building strong connections, growing close to his team, and making sure that they are tough. And I love his quote at the bottom here in blue: "A connected team is the most dangerous team." And I'm telling you, camaraderie will take you farther than skill any day for the most part. And I think they got some great things going on in Tri-Valley that truly demonstrate that. What is Tri-Valley? Well, the Titan story started in 2007 AD, where the Cambridge Bulldogs and the Midvale Rangers joined together in schools in a co-op and started to show that they were going to put themselves on the board. Remember, ain't no mountain high enough? Sing it, Will. Ain't no valley low enough.
You do the singing, Coach.
Oh,
I'm just
go,
here
baby.
for my looks and my quick wit.
I'm down here in my recording studio. So what do they do at Cambridge to bring the team together? Well, in 2-a-days during the summer, they have I think he said at least one mandatory ice tub that they have to get into. And of course, it's going to be a cattle trough. We wouldn't have it any other way in this state. Team dinners are also put together each week, and a players only night, pizza night, is also offered. And coach says, I have a son on the team, so I get to stay late, and I get to steal a slice once in a while as well. And of course, the Titan Stories, the only show on Friday nights, is showing at the field on Friday nights as the football game goes on. Coach Wagner builds leadership by empowering his team to be committed. Discipline starts with the standard set at the beginning of the year. Peer accountability is key, and players help each other stay on track. He says, I utilize the leaders on our team with their peers to peer influence to take care of the discipline. I found that when players hold each other accountable, it is way more effective, and for sure. And after each game, coach thanks, they line up on the side of the field. They thank their fans. I think I saw that last year when we went and watched North Gym and Will was calling the game. But that helps Yep, I think that helps show appreciation and reinforce their team culture first. Coach, by the way, is also the athletic director, the ag teacher, the welding guy, and the FFA leader. So, man, this guy is well-rounded. That he insists that great coaches are the ones that have a positive culture built and making these boys into great men, sons, and fathers. We've heard that a lot and can appreciate that amongst all our coaches out there. This year's Titans are returning a strong core. They ran a semifinal team last season to Dietrich in the Dome. I got to call that game. That was fun to watch. He is excited about his trifecta in the backfield and his all-state linemen that are coming back. And he calls it going to the doctor each week. And the coaches check out and prescribe the medicine, the plays, the defense, whatever is needed for the team that week coming up into the next game to fix it and to get them feeling well and better. And their goals every week, number one, get better. And I see that happening. Get physical. We hear about that, and some teams are feeling that, and then play all 48 minutes. And the Titans are certainly rising to that. Now, one important thing I want to point out here, when they're on the bus, okay, going to different trips, he says, I always try to account for every minute when we travel by being transparent with our players with what the schedule of objective of our game this week. I don't think I've ever heard that. The scheduled objective of the trip is each week in person, being personal. Now, we've heard that. You hear that in the huddle. You hear it during practice sometime. But using every minute, that accounts for making sure there's focus when you step off the bus. How much does Coach give to his team? Well, Titans eat free at Tri-Valley. Wagner gives all. And he says, the one thing I didn't expect during my first coaching year was that my entire paycheck would go towards feeding the players on our away trips. Now, that's dedication. And I can guarantee you he's not the only coach doing that, but pretty cool to point out that that's where it stands. He says, when your players learn you care about them, they will give you everything and everything they have for the team. Hey, Coach has got some weird superstitions. You see that cookie in the milk right there? After every game, Coach eats 5, and I got to get this right here, 5 Chips Ahoy chocolate chip candy blast cookies. And they're dipped for 30 seconds. They're just right, and that's how it goes. And that's how it finishes just before bed. Perfect, Coach. I love it. He takes a 1-hour nap before games and a shower, and then he wants to be at the school an hour and a half before anyone else gets there. And dang it, the team is going to be on the field at exactly 30 minutes before the game. Now, I love that. That's good stuff. And if it doesn't happen that way, oh, dang. Hey, Coach has got some big-time mentors that have helped him that he looks up to for inspiration. He sent these photos, and I was trying to figure out who they were. And I was like, wait a minute, that's a Ducks coach. That's Dan Lanning. And then I looked up this Alik Terry guy, and that's the offensive line coach for the Ducks. And Coach has been going to the Ducks coaches clinic now for 7 years and knows both these guys by first name. They know him by first name. And Coach is even on speed dial for Coach Terry. But he loves going to this event and picks up so many different drills. And Coach Terry said, call me anytime. I'll give you something. Coach also hosted a 5-on-5 tournament this year in Cambridge that a lot of teams went to and took part of. So getting in on the action of the 8-man style. Hey, Coach has got an amazing family. And I'm sure thanks to Brittany here, we've updated a few pictures. And we got this backdrop in the backdrop there between a couple Titans slapping hands. But this is the Titan family. We are the Titans. He says it's difficult during the season because I miss my family, but we're at all the games. We're extended family. And, of course, he's got his oldest son, Paxton, who's a freshman. His nephew, Jace, running the ball, throwing the ball. His brother, Jake, is one of the assistants. And his wife is also an assistant, right, Coach? Doing everything that you can't get to, backing you up. And Jacob, another son, assistant coach as well, helping out on the side there. I guess I didn't get the other son in there. Sorry about that. But a great family affair. And they love to go to rodeos. He was in Lewiston last weekend, rodeoing, doing a variety of different things, but a close family, you can tell, and it was fun to visit with them. Well, let's finish up with a few Titan bolts here for the evening. Coach's favorite call in the red zone is I formation fake dive, quarterback naked bootleg. Who's running that? Mr. Wagner, of course. most memorable players, those who show pride and commitment every day. That's a great summary. Love that. And hey, this is a cool stat here that no one else can probably match. Coach has been blind in his left eye since birth. It's never slowed him down, not one single time. And his son is blind in his right eye. It's kind of a disease. He started with an A of some sort that they have, but does not slow them down whatsoever. And his son has a contact lens to correct that they caught early on. So that's kind of a unique thing that he shared with us. His advice for new coaches: be firm, fair, consistent, focus on those fundamentals, and it's going to carry you a long ways. So Coach Wagner, appreciate you sharing us your story this evening and for talking with me on the phone there. Maybe it is your time this year, and you're definitely going to leave, no doubt, this year. And I think that the Titans, I'm calling you out right now as we talked on the phone, are going to the championship game this season. So wish you good luck, Coach Wagner.
Yeah, really cool. A lot of exciting things happening over there at Tri-Valley. My first interaction at Tri-Valley was with their girls basketball team. I was on the call when they won their first state girls basketball championship. That was 5 years ago now. And so that's how I knew Tri-Valley. And then later I was like, oh, these guys can play football too. Pretty exciting. We did get a request during the Coach's Corner, Coach, and you did a great job as always. Francisco Gamino says, please don't sing. Save my ears.
Yeah, that's my son-in-law. Love you, buddy.
Oh, pretty funny. Pretty funny for sure. Well, we appreciate Coach Wagner stepping into the Coach's Corner this week. And yeah, a lot of really exciting things going on there at Tri-Valley with football and wrestling and basketball and cross country, and just really good time to be a Tri-Valley Titan.
They got a number of kids that actually go down to Weiser and play baseball in the spring too. Jace Wagner's a baseball player. Jarrett Mink was a baseball player, former great 14 sport athlete up there in Tri-Valley. They get it done up there.
Yeah, a lot of good athletes up there for sure. It's Midvale and Cambridge, and then Indian Valley, right? That's the other community. They've never had a school, but Cambridge and Midvale were the two schools. So, okay, well, let's move on, guys, to the Sawtooth Conference, District 4. Cary and Rockland had this big non-conference battle last Friday on IdahoSports.com. This was Coach Kirkland's season debut on the headset with Paul Kingsbury, 54-24 victory for the Panthers. The usual suspects on defense. Will Park had 14 tackles. They had 10 sacks as a team. Gabe Saili and Trip Bailey each had 3. Jonathan Rojas had 2. Jonah Saili and Liam Long each had 1. Coach, what were your big takeaways from this game?
Yeah, Rockland's a good team. They just don't have enough players. Goodness, if they had 4 or 5 more players the caliber of what's on the field, goodness, they would be really, really good. Xavier Parrish, amazing with his feet, throwing passes, really efficient. And really just hard to take down. Zach Perman, difficult to take down. Stockton Sears kind of had his night, had his number all night long, but the Bulldogs are pretty bully. And I'm telling you, they gave Cary a good game there. The first part there until the wheels kind of came off just a little bit, and the quarterback got chased down a little bit more after that point. But Stockton Sears once again got turned loose. I think the first play from scrimmage was an 82-yard scamper. I think he had another 70-yard one and another 70-yard one later in the game, but continues to rack those yards up. Jonas Aili connecting for a couple touchdowns with his big brother, Gabe, and getting into the end zone a few times. And, of course, Will just always making tackles throughout the evening here. Maybe the storyline to take away from this, after the game, Rockland is now officially down to 8 total players, according to Kip Wilson. Zach Perman, stud, best player on the team, next to Parrish, torn MCL from a wicked tackle that came throughout the game. And then one of the younger kids, a broken hand or something in that game. So we're going to finish 3 games rest of the season with 8 guys. One cool storyline, however, Isaac Held was back on the field that night to help support them there, and got in on the action a little bit, but a tough Bulldog team nonetheless.
Wow. Well, we're going to talk about that Rocky Mountain Conference a little later on. That certainly changes the calculus a little bit for sure there. And yeah, Stockton Sears, 14 carries, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Was this your other guy for the player of the year, Coach? Steers?
I better bring it up here. Yeah. 71 carries, only 71 carries for 1,323 yards and 17 touchdowns on the year. So anytime he touches the ball, it's gone almost.
And a great defensive player as well. So
Yes.
Really exciting. Shoshone defeats Richfield 32-12. And all of a sudden, Shoshone kind of quietly is kind of right back to that second banana in the conference behind Carey. Ty Russell, new quarterback this year, 5 of 7, 70 yards and a touchdown, ran for a touchdown as well. Hadley Hunt, oh my gosh, 21 carries, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 15 tackles and a sack on defense. The Indians have very quietly been going about their business here, Will.
Yeah, they had to fill a couple of, everybody does, but they had to fill a couple of holes from graduations last year. Bud Cortez, one of the departed seniors. And once those pieces started to fill in and players started to feel a little bit more comfortable, and one of them, Ty Russell at the quarterback position, I think he's a sophomore. So that's a kid that's going to be making some hay for a while down there in Shoshone. But they've just been getting a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And, we talked a lot about Richfield, justifiably so. We've talked a lot about Hanson, justifiably so. We've obviously talked about Dietrich and Carey, but you're right. There's Shoshone. And the one thing that you want to be is you want to be on the upswing when the season's winding down. And right now they're playing better and better as the weeks go by. I wouldn't want to I don't know that I'd want to face them right about now. They're playing with some confidence and they're playing better football. Yeah.
Graham says Shoshone has upset potential. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. You mentioned Hanson. They beat Dietrich 54-12. Benny Reichel, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Carson Mulberry, 139 yards and a touchdown as well. So a nice win for Hanson there. And then Castleford wins this wild game with Camas County, 60-58, the final. No idea what happened in that game. Didn't get a report of any kind. Looks like it was a pretty fun one, though. Did either of you hear anything about this Castleford Camas game, Will or Coach?
All I know,
I heard a little bit that Camas, Quinn Palin played, playing at quarterback, made some things happen. He's a big, strong kid. He was able to do some damage for Camas, but wasn't quite enough apparently. And
wow.
Yeah,
Coach?
all I know is that the Rafts coming from that game were 50 minutes late to our game in Carey. So
I told Paul to send you down at halftime to go do some fact checking for us.
Yeah, he did. We started down the stairs and then they showed up. So dang it, missed our chance.
Yeah, your game did kick off a half an hour late because the refs, they got caught up with that Castleford Camas game for sure. Late. Yep. Here are the latest standings in the Sawtooth Conference. Carey's 3-0. Shoshone's 3-0. They play each other soon. Hanson's 2-1. Dietrich is 2-2. Richfield, Castleford, both 1-3. Camas County 0-3, bringing up the rear there. And finally, guys, let's go to the Rocky Mountain Conference. We already talked about Rockland and that loss to Carey. Chalice beat Water Springs 60-12. I texted Coach Les Webb on Saturday, and he said, yeah, Gus Zerga ran the ball well. And then that's kind of like understatement of the year because I saw the final stat line, 24 carries, 295 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I'd say he did all right. Owen Thane threw 4.
He's just a freshman.
And Owen Thane is a freshman, right? The quarterback as well. So he threw for 171 yards and 4 touchdowns. T. Garrickson did his normal thing, 5 catches, 113 yards, 3 touchdowns on offense, 11 tackles, and 3 interceptions on defense. Will, Chalice continues to just get better and better and stack wins here.
Yeah, their overall record is not what people would consider great, but you look at some of those teams that they played early on. They played a tough schedule to start the season, and they put themselves, in a position to learn from those experiences and learn from those games. And now you come into conference play. If I'm Les Webb or if I'm one of those Vikings players, I got to feel really good about my chances to make a run.
Yeah. And then this one, we all got wrong on our picks. We all picked Mackey to defeat North Gem. Coach Yost, let's just say we're not going to be getting Coach Hatch. We're not going to be getting any Christmas cards from Coach Corey Hatch this year. 52-14, North Gem showing up, showing out. Craig Yost, 177 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Clay Johnson, 95 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing. Had a 101-yard kick return for a touchdown as well, Coach. North Gem Cowboys making this race interesting over in East Idaho.
Yeah, 101 yards is interesting too, because you can't run it out of the end zone. But maybe he got it at the 2 and went to the 1 and started. I don't know, But yeah, that's a North. That was a shocker. North Gym, but however, very effective. Coach Hatch always has a great game plan and sees things. And when his kids are rolling, you can't stop them. They're amazing against any quality of team, and certainly put it on Mackey last Friday night.
They had to sort some things out earlier this year as far as, again, new players in new roles, and you don't have a ton of kids. So, if you've got somebody who's struggling at position X, you're not blessed with a bountiful list of people to put in there for them. You got to work with what you got. And with some of those smaller rostered teams, sometimes it can take a little longer for the gears to really start meshing. But that's a good win over Mackey. Not just the score, not just the fact that they got the win, but the way they won it. I mean, I think they threw one pass, they spread the ball around. You got Craig Yost, you got Johnson, the freshman you mentioned, and they feel like they're another team that might be trending up a little bit here as the year goes on.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the Rocky Mountain Conference standings. Showban did play Butte County's JV as well and fell 64-22, but that's great that Showban's still out there competing. I love it. Chalice, North Gem, and Rockland are all undefeated. We're going to sort this thing out starting this week. They're all going to start playing each other. So Chalice is 3-0, North Gem and Rockland both 2-0. Mackey is 1-2, Water Springs 0-2, Showban 0-4, bringing up the rear. Rockland's low on numbers. North Gem is low on numbers. Chalice has the best overall numbers because they're technically a 2A school. I don't know how this gets sorted out. All I can say is buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And further complicating matters in this Rocky Mountain Conference, guys, if we take a look at the current Max Preps rankings and how the playoff bracket would shake out, only one team from East Idaho is going to get in right now. UC Rockland is the highest ranked team from the East, and they're number 11. North Gem is 16. Chalice is 17. So the Max Preps computers obviously don't think much of the Rocky Mountain Conference this year. Tri-Valley's 1, Council 2, Genesee 3 after that win over Wallace. Cary drops to 4. The strength of schedule thing is going to hurt Cary, unfortunately, I think this year with the Sawtooth Conference being down a little bit compared to other conferences around the state. Wallace still in good shape at number 5. Salmon River leapfrogs Garden Valley. They're now 6. The Wolverines are 7. Court of Christ 8th, Deary 9, Hanson 10, and then Rockland checking in at number 11. And Shoshone right now would be our last team in at number 12. Very interesting. Timberline with 1 win has moved into the next position, the first team out of the playoffs, and they're really close right now, Will. That was what my big takeaway was.
Yeah, and there's opportunities abound because they got some good teams ahead of them, a chance to go get a win. But I think you look at 4 long pin teams in the top 7. I think that we collectively spend a lot of time wringing our hands over 12, 13, 14. And then they deserve their attention too. They're fighting, they're trying to get in there, and they're trying to do it. But I want to tip my cap to the long pin. 4 of the top 7. You got 1, 2, 6, and 7, all from the long pin. That's pretty impressive. Yeah,
that's 4 of the 5 members of the league. So our current bracket would be Tri-Valley 1, Wallace 4, Genesee 2, Cary 3. They would all have the byes. The first round would be Court of Christ at Garden Valley. Contrasting styles there. Deary at Salmon River, Hanson at Council, and Shoshone at Rockland. That's if the playoffs started today. Just thought it was interesting that, like Richfield seems low to me. North Gem, Chalice, they all seem kind of low to me, but who am I to argue with the computers, right?
Especially when you don't know what they're grading on.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, guys. I wanted to wrap up the show before we do the game picks here with the IHSAA held their meeting this past week. It was actually last week, where all the teams that wanted to petition up or down could do so. And then the final judgments were rendered. And so there's going to be some changes to the 8-man landscape next year. I've highlighted what the new districts will look like, and the teams that are in bold font are the teams that are going to be changing, either moving up or down. So here's what 2A football will look like next year, provided everybody has a team. Right away, Lakeside and Wallace. Yeah, you're going back up. Sorry, you're going back up to the 2A ranks. You've got Garden Valley and Tri-Valley both moving up to 2A in District 3. North Star Charter intends on having a football program for the first time next year. They are a 3A school otherwise, and they specifically petitioned to play 8-man football instead of 11-man football because, well, they're trying to start a program from scratch. Shoshone is getting moved up to 2A in District 4, and Chalice is getting booted back up with Butte County and Grace next year in 2A football. Will, what are your big takeaways here from what 2A football could look like next year?
Boy, that District 2 White Pine looks a lot different with Logos going up. They're going to be they petitioned up to play as a 3A school in football next year, and then Kendrick and Troy both officially going down to the 1A ranks. That's still a pretty good conference when you're talking about Kamiah, Potlatch, and Prairie, along with Lapwai and Clearwater Valley. But that looks a lot different without the two teams that have just bullied a lot of the state for the last couple of years in Logos and Kendrick moving out.
Yeah, Kendrick and Troy both. Kendrick is moving down to 1A. They're a 1A school. Troy petitioned down for 1A, got the green light to do that. And yeah, Logos, coach, despite still being a 2A school, they petitioned up to play 3A 11-man football next year. They're going to play Orofino and Kellogg and St. Mary's and Grangeville and Priest River. I like it.
Kudos, man. Kudos. Big gold star trophy. I don't know. I think that's awesome that they're willing to do that. They haven't won a championship in 8-man football. Maybe this year they can get it done, but still just saying, you know what? We're going up. We can do it. We're going to be that good. We're going to compete. We're going to have fun doing there. We're going to take some pride in that and build off of that and continue to accelerate in our program. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, really cool. Okay, so what is 1A football going to look like next year, guys? So let's take a look. You've got Clark Fork and Court of Christ. They're going to be alone in District 1 now. Kendrick moving down, Troy moving down. So the White Pine League in District 2 all of a sudden has 6 teams. Longpin's looking a little lean, guys. Cascade, Council, Horseshoe Bend, Salmon River, and that's it. And then really the other big change is Shoshone's gone from District 4, and Chalice is gone from District 5 and 6. Not much has changed for 1A football last year, or for 1A football this upcoming year. But, Coach, what's your big takeaway?
Yeah, I think the takeaway there is there's a lot of good competition going away from the 1A that's going to get moved up, and perhaps rightly so. A lot of those numbers from those schools are in the 120s, and maybe they should do a little bit better job at recruiting and have an opportunity to recruit a few more from their schools up in there, so to speak. But Kendrick coming back down, they've been down. They were only up a 2-year cycle, right? Yeah, I think this last time around that'll change the landscape there. I don't know what that story says there. Is there something lesser coming in the years ahead? Definitely not the next 2 years, I don't think. But either way, they're at 83, I think the number was. So we'll just take a look and see how that ends up.
Yeah. Will, what's your big takeaway?
I think dropping Kendrick down and you look at their roster, they're going to have a bunch of dudes coming back. You got, a young Deary team. You've got a young Lewis County team. You've got Genesee, which has some good players coming back, and they just got to be looking around going, crap, here comes Kendrick. But at the same time, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, okay, let's strap it up and let's go. I mean, I'm looking over at District 5-6, and I know there's no changes over there. But Mackey, young team. North Gem, some good young players. Rockland having to really get some young players up to speed quickly. Water Springs, young team. Showband, young team. There could be a lot of fun football played over in Eastern Idaho next fall.
Yeah, one team I did not include in this is Lighthouse Christian. If they've been playing JV football this year, if they do try to have a varsity team, it would be at the 1A level next year. They are officially a 1A school in all sports. So they would be with Carey and Castleford and all those guys next year. So that is kind of the other interesting wrinkle that could potentially happen there. But that's what the 1A and 2A classifications are going to look like next year, barring, some late spring number counts that really swing things one way or the other. But I don't know, just thought it was interesting to see, how the landscape is shifting. I will say, Wallace and Lakeside did get booted back up to 2A, and with the White Pine League losing so many teams, I was told the White Pine League did reach out and extend an invitation to Lakeside and Wallace to join and merge conferences if they wanted to.
They've done it before.
That's just a long way to travel for everybody. So I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I was told that invitation was out there. So I guess we'll see, but could be interesting. But anyways, that's next year's problem. And right now we've got to figure out who is the biggest know-it-all on the panel in terms of picking the games. It is our pick'em segment here on IdahoSports.com. Here are the updated totals after week 7. And guys, Will Henneke on an all-time heater. He went 18-1, and then he went 17-2. You'll have to pardon the numbers. I got the numbers mixed up here, but Will went 18-1 and then 17-2. The totals are all correct. So Will has climbed back into second place, only one game back of Coach. Coach is still leading at 88-26. Will is a game back at 87-27. I am 2 games back at 86-28. I went 14-5 last week, guys. I went on autopilot and picked Salmon River instead of Tri-Valley. I was just rattling off a bunch of teams in a row, and I was like, oh yeah, Salmon River, and I'll stick by the pick. I mean, I made it, but obviously in my head I was thinking Tri-Valley, but oh well, it is what it is. Coach is going to play the world's smallest violin for me.
I didn't even pick that up last week, so I don't. Yeah, I'll sing maybe.
Yeah,
no singing.
Well, there are no Thursday or Saturday games this week. I know Will was looking for a good Saturday game to go to, but
bums me out.
It's all Friday action this week. So here's what we've got on IdahoSports.com, the Friday Night Flash, where we will be updating games in real time as they happen Friday night. These are the 2A games. Idaho City at Centennial Baptist, Clearwater Valley, and Grace. That strength of schedule is just going to keep going up for the Rams. Glenns Ferry at Hagerman, Cammy I and Kendrick, the big showdown in the White Pine. We've got Troy and Lapway, Council and Notice, both of their opponents. Notice was supposed to play Rimrock. Council was supposed to play Horseshoe Bend. Luckily, they picked each other up for a non-conference game. Don't ignore the Rimrock Notice. That's going to be a forfeit. Murtaugh and Oakley, Prairie and Potlatch, Butte County and Raft River could be a fun one. And then Castle Ford and Valley. Will, once again, you were the high picker last week, so I'll let you go first.
All right. I'm going to roll with Idaho City. Coach Rober and the boys are playing some great football up there. I expect that to continue. Grace, Hagerman at home. I'm gonna take Kendrick to win, but I think Cammy I can definitely punch with them a little bit. That'll be a fun game to watch. I'll take Troy over Lapway. I'll take Council over Notice. Murtaugh over Oakley. That's another one that I think will be a good football game. Prairie over Potlatch. Coach Hasselstrom picking up the road win there. Oh, man. I'm going to go Raft River over Butte, taking the home field, and then Valley with the win over Castleford.
Okay. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm about the same on those picks there, Will. You're just the guru to follow, maybe. But, yeah, I think Idaho City, Grace, Hagerman, Kendrick, Troy, Council, Notice, Murtaugh. Scrolling down, I got Prairie, Raft River at the home, and Valley.
Okay, I'm going to be very in my head thinking of what I'm saying here. I'm going to go
Idaho. Coach is just going to pick the same teams I pick for the rest of the year, so he's guaranteed to win by 1.
Keep feeding me, man. Keep feeding me.
It all comes back to that Centennial Baptist game, week 1. Idaho City. I'll go Grace. I will go Hagerman, Kendrick. I will go Lapway. I don't know. Just a gut feeling. I'll go Lapway. I will take Council. I will go Murtaugh. I will go Potlatch over Prairie. Try and pick up a game there. I'll go Raft River, and I will take Valley there. And the 1A slate of games. Chalice and North Gem. All right, we're going to start to figure out this Rocky Mountain Conference over there in the east. Showban and Water Springs. Dietrich and Cary, the rivalry resumed. Wallace and Clark Fork. Deary and Coeur de Christ. Shoshone and Hanson. Genesee and Lakeside. Rockland and Mackey. Camas County and Richfield, Garden Valley at Salmon River, Cascade at Tri-Valley, and that's it. So, Will, take it away with the 1As.
I'm sweating this first game a lot. I really like both these teams. I like where they're at right now. But I'd like to defer to the home team. So I'm going to take North Gem in what I think is going to be a dynamic football game. Water Springs for a win, Cary for a win, Wallace, Coeur de Christ.
Tough one.
I'm going to go Shoshone on the road, going against my home team mantra that I just gave you a moment ago. Genesee over Lakeside, Rockland over Mackay, Richfield over Camas County, Salmon River over Garden Valley, Tri-Valley over Cascade.
Wow. Okay. Coach, what do you think here?
Okay, I
opened the door for you here, Coach.
Yeah, I'm going to flip up there on the top there, and it's tough to call, but I'm going to go with Chalice and see what happens there with the older kids, and we'll see how they roll there. Going with Water Springs. Cary, Wallace, Coeur de Christ, Shoshone, Genesee, Rockland, Richfield, Salmon River. I'm going to go Salmon River and Tri-Valley.
Wow. Okay.
So we got a situation here.
Yeah.
Coach, we picked one game differently.
Yeah.
So either we're going to be tied next week or I'm going to be 2 games down.
That's the game.
Yes, we are. That's why we play the game.
Yes.
Coach has got a few tricks up his sleeve. I'm no dummy. I'm not picking against Coach Hatch 2 weeks in a row. Give me North Gem. I will take Water Springs. I will take Cary. I will take Wallace. This game is going to be really fun. I'm going to be broadcasting this Deary Coeur de Christ game on IdahoSports.com. Part of me thinks if Deary can show up and play mistake-free football for 4 quarters, maybe they have a chance. They've got some really good defensive linemen. Coeur de Christ's offensive line could have their hands full. I'm too scared though. I'll go the Saints. I will take Hanson over Shoshone. I'm trying to take some wild swings here, get back in it. I'll take Genesee, Rockland, Richfield, Garden Valley over Salmon River, and I will take Tri-Valley over Cascade. So I'm going to either fall way out of it or make a comeback here. So stay tuned, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. This week on IdahoSports.com, guys, we have 3 8-man broadcasts for you on Friday night. We will have Glenns Ferry at Hagerman. Really fun 2A game. We should have a really good one between Cammy and Kendrick. You can tune in on IdahoSports.com. And then, of course, I will be at Deary and Coeur de Christ. They're playing that game at Timberlake High School up in Spirit Lake.
Is that where Coeur de Christ is playing all? Because I know they don't have their own facility there. Are they just kind of, what's the word for it? Road tripping every week? Vagabond.
Most of their home games are at the Mauriman Health Core Center where Lakeside plays. Down in Worley, but Lakeside has a home game this week. And so they were supposed to play at Coeur d'Alene High School. Well, they've got district soccer coming up, and they use the turf for their soccer games now. So Timberlake High School it is, up in Spirit Lake. So it should be.
Which isn't far.
No. So 3 games for you on IdahoSports.com this weekend. Coach, you going to be at Cary Dietrich?
I think so. Yep. There's also a fundraiser for the Bryce Hanson kid from Dietrich beforehand, a pulled pork dinner at 6:00. So come on out and support.
Cool. That's going to be a great time. Will, where are you going to be at?
I'm contemplating one of 2 things. It's senior night at Parma, and a few of my baseball players will be playing their last high school football game. So I think I'll be there for a while, but I also I really enjoyed watching the multiple different games last week. I really enjoyed it, and you guys have 3 good ones coming up, so I might just be over there for the first half of the old Parma football game and then come home and just watch the rest of the evening from here.
Cool. Hey, that's a good way to do it. And I will be, of course, with Deary and Coeur de Christ. I'll get to see the other contenders from North Idaho. I got to see Genesee and Wallace last week. Now I'm seeing Court of Christ and Deary this week. I will know the North like the back of my hand, which is to say not well at all. So on that note, thanks for tuning into the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast, everybody. For Will Henneke and Coach Lane Kirkland, I'm Brandon Baney. See you back here next Wednesday on IdahoSports.com.